to the light. Keep us forever in the path. We pray. Bless our means, straight from the places are not where we met thee. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our name, till the land.
Assembled guests, please welcome Tom Bailey, President of Teachers College.
Thank you. I've got to say that this set of graduation ceremonies has been marked by wonderful music, and you easily lived up to those standards. So thank you so much. That was great. So I'm really delighted to be here. I hope everyone made it out to Queens for our celebrations yesterday. So, you know, we also had on Sunday the 2021 classes at the same place. So this is for me kind of the culmination of 3 really wonderful days. Not only, you know, celebrating, as every graduation is a celebration, but, you know, we're also celebrating that we haven't done it in 3 years. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I've actually done something in Cowan, and it's got to be over. I don't even remember the last time I did something. So you've given me lots of reasons to celebrate today. So, I mean, first of all, you know, you should all be so proud of what you've done. You know, you've overcome obstacles. It's been very difficult. It's amazing that really people have gotten through this, despite the fact I just met somebody who hadn't actually been on campus. So that's kind of amazing if you think about that. I mean, I don't know how many of you actually hadn't been on campus. Some, there you go. So this is Cowan, right? So first of all, you really, you know, should be proud of your accomplishments. So let's give yourselves a round of applause, really. And of course, also you need to thank your families, you know, their faith in you, what they've taught you, the direction that they've given you, the support and love, all of those things, I think, really have helped you get here. Undoubtedly, without that, you probably wouldn't have. So let's give them a round of applause as well. So now I've spent most of my career studying and working for reform in higher education, particularly the sector of higher education, community colleges, that serves a disproportionate number of students of color and first-generation students. So I'm acutely aware of the many ways in which our society and our education system create roadblocks that hamper the progress of students who share similar backgrounds. But none of those roadblocks and systematic failures have stopped you. You've kept going and you've succeeded. And that makes your achievements all the more meaningful. I see a room full of people who love you. And I imagine that there are many more individuals who have helped you along the way. Along with your family and friends, you have likely found support and mentorship from teachers, ministers, coaches, professors, and other individuals. There have been helpers in your lives who sparked something in you, empowered you to believe in yourselves, inspired you to go for more than you previously imagined possible. And now, with your degrees in hand, you will play that same role for others. Whether you're heading into a career as an educator, a mental health provider, a public health advocate, or a researcher or policy maker. You're bringing knowledge and perspectives that have transformational potential. What were once the challenges that may have daunted or discouraged you have been alchemized through your efforts into knowledge and experiences that empower you to help others. You're uniquely positioned to question the way things are, to offer insights and to apply and share your expertise. You're uniquely positioned to forge and follow new avenues of inquiry that can unleash opportunities and promote access, equity, and inclusion. It's a big responsibility, but you have proven that you're up to the challenge. Thank you for all that you have brought to the TC community. We are so proud of you and can't wait to see all that you accomplish. Now let me introduce our Provost, Dean, and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Stephanie Rowley.
My goodness, I thought nothing could top yesterday's graduation and the amazing music that we heard yesterday, but that has got to be the best rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing that I've ever heard. Thank you. When I arrived at Teachers College, people said the real graduation, the moment of that is most uplifting and filled with gratitude is our first gen and diversity celebration. So I am so excited to be here, so excited to celebrate with you all. As I think back over the past few days of graduation ceremonies, there are a few themes that seemed really prominent. One of them was really resilience. And I think that one of the things that stood out from all the speakers from yesterday was this idea that life is going to throw us curveballs, that life is going to provide us with all kinds of challenges, things that we didn't imagine in the past, that we weren't expecting, but that we can be resilient, that you all are resilient, that certainly the past few years, 2 years, have shown you what you can do in the face of immense challenges. And also that you have a responsibility to face those challenges, even when, as one of the speakers yesterday said, you feel wholly unprepared. So I just want to congratulate you all on the journey that you're embarking on, congratulate you all for the work that you've done and for the preparation that is going to serve you so well as you move forward into all the wonderful things that you're going to do. So this ceremony is dedicated to you, but also to all of those individuals who supported you and made today possible, some of whom are here today. So we've selected 5 letters, so only 5, from graduates to their families that we'll read aloud. Obviously, I would love to be able to read all the letters, more than just the 5. I want to share some beautiful words of love from a few of the letters that I won't be able to read in full. So Annalie Ramirez wrote to her mommy and poppy, "You both understood that you lacked opportunity and you used the skills you had to expand your children's horizons. I've come to know that I am your special American dream." Shristi Devi Singh thanked her mom, dad, nanny, and big mom, recollecting, "I remember dad giving me homework. To make it worse, it was summer homework. As I got older, the tables turned. No longer did you need to yell at me to do my schoolwork. Now I was the one demanding quiet so that I could focus. Because of you, I am strong. I am the strong, resilient, and hardworking woman I am today." Nia Kerr wrote to her mom and dad, "I know that leaving your home countries of Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago was the hardest thing that you both had to do. I am living proof that all of your sacrifices were not in vain and that dreams do come true." David Johns wrote of his mother, "Her commitment to ensuring her children lived a better life than hers reflects a long legacy of Black, Native, Indigenous, and Brown women sacrificing themselves with the hope that their children will be free." And to his father, he expressed gratitude for his quiet and steady presence in my life and for teaching him that softness is not something exclusive or restricted to femininity. The opposite is true. Jeffrey Acevedo thanked his bisabuela, Maria, abuela, Ana, and mama for their sacrifices and unconditional love. To his siblings, he wrote, "You have seen it all and have helped guide me through times of despair. I thank you for being my light." Cheney Matos wrote to her one-woman fan club, her mom, "You were my cheerleader when I wanted to give up, my babysitter so I could go to class, my voice of reason when I wanted to take 5 classes in one semester, and my source of strength when I thought the pandemic would slow me down." Families and loved ones who are here tonight, this is quite a testimony. Thank you for all that you've done to support your TC scholars and graduates. Thank you for these beautiful words. We are all incredibly proud of you and all that you've accomplished and can't wait to watch you bring your dreams to fruition in the next stage of your journey. Now I'm delighted to introduce my colleague, Professor Carmen Martinez Roldan.
Dear students, families, friends, and colleagues, hoy es un día para celebrar. Today, graduates, we celebrate your perseverance and commitment to keep going in spite of the many crises that have shaped your academic experience, especially during the last 3 years. With your study as a student of color, a first-generation graduate, and or a child from a working class family, you have joined a steady stream in a large river of struggles and resistance that connects us back to our ancestors. I invite you to savor this moment and to not take for granted what you and your loved ones have accomplished here, and all that took for you and for many to make it possible. As part of this journey, some of you, like myself, had to face the consequences of the erasure experienced by our communities due to distorted narratives that for too long have misrepresented us. And perhaps you struggled finding your place or believing that you belonged, despite the fact that so many others believed in you. I understand you. Today, I think of my parents who believed in me. They were born in poverty in a rural town in Puerto Rico. My father became a TV repairman, and my mother, like her sisters, came to work in the garment industry in New York City, as many Puerto Rican women did in the 40s. They returned to Puerto Rico and saw something in this little girl that was playing in the patio of a relative's house. And despite their limited financial resources, they decided to adopt me and to raise me together with their young child as also their daughter. I remember that I liked school and liked to do schoolwork. So my mother was sure about not asking me to do any chore at the house until I finished my schoolwork. And I took advantage of that, too much, I think. I attended public school and then attended the University of Puerto Rico, where I became a teacher. Years later, I returned to the university to complete a master's degree. I started getting student loans, getting loans and fellowships to complete my doctoral studies in Arizona. And along the way, so many people believed in me and supported me. So who would have thought that the little girl who was walking barefoot in El Barro Rojo de Aguadilla, because the earth in my hometown is like red clay, would be standing up here today in New York City, where my mother worked for so many hours daily, and at TC Columbia University, sharing my story and witnessing yours. Thus, keep believing in yourself and treasure the faith others have in you. Let's honor those who have inspired us to be the better version possible of ourselves. To that purpose, I will read Manuel's letter to his family, in which he honors his Spanish language and which captures many of the feelings we experience toward our hardworking parents. Querida familia, quiero darles gracias por el apoyo y el amor que me han dado a lo largo de toda mi vida. En particular, quiero agradecerles que a partir de mi adolescencia Me han permitido tomar decisiones con las que quizás no estaban de acuerdo, pero siempre confiaron en mi capacidad de enfrentar las situaciones en las que me metía. Cuando decidí estudiar carreras cada vez más extrañas, primero sociología, después política educativa internacional y mucho después educación comparativa internacional. Cuando renuncié a mi trabajo 5 veces, cuando me mudé a un país extraño 3 veces, cuando decidí compartir mi vida con Michael, mi pareja desde hace 15 años. La paradoja es que quizás no me hubiera metido en alguna de esas situaciones potencialmente desafiantes si no hubiera sabido que siempre tengo un lugar seguro a donde volver si algo sale mal. Y la paradoja es que si no hubiera tenido esa certeza, quizá no habría tenido la seguridad y la confianza para poder desenvolverme en esas situaciones. Por último, quiero agradecerles por enseñarme el valor de los afectos, de nuestra cultura latinoamericana y uruguaya, de la educación y del trabajo. Gracias por acompañarme en este viaje. Besos y abrazos para toda la familia. Manuel Cardoso. So let's embrace proudly our past and project into the future, dreaming together of the world we want to live in and acting together to make it a reality. As many of you have heard me saying, every story matters. Every little effort counts as we collaboratively tell our stories as acts of resistance and engage in transformative equity-oriented work. Congratulations, graduates. Now, please welcome my dear colleague, Professor Sandra Schmidt.
Good afternoon. Hopefully that's. I'm honored to be able to speak to our first generation and diverse student graduates and the invited guests that is so integral to the success of these graduates. In a world where we often talk about individuality, moments like these allow us to reflect on how our successes, our ideas, our change in the world actually happens in communities, our born and our chosen communities. These relationships strengthen, ground, and inspire us. I will share a letter from Anita in a moment, but as I read this letter alongside the few remarks I'd already pondered, I noticed an important thread, that of authenticity. It was also echoed so powerfully in Yamna Benderi's speech to her fellow graduates yesterday. Ceremonies like this reflect the change to and in the space of TC and in higher education. We are diversifying and disrupting the senses of who belongs, transforming curriculum to better resist structural inequalities, and expanding the knowledges and discourses that circulate within. Your persistence in accessing and completing graduate studies, your commitment to your own learning, and the impact you have and will continue to have on your fields are changing the world for those who walk in your footsteps. I want to reiterate authenticity because amidst change, there's often resistance. Some of it intentional, as we see right now, where in schools, communities, and elected bodies are fighting to retain critical race theory, ethnic studies, and LGBTQ history curriculum against fierce backlash. And some of it is that institutions themselves are sturdy and do not give way easily. Part of our successful education is to learn how to belong within and achieve within these institutions. I stand with Anita, Yumna, and the amazing students in my own program to remind you to not become institutionalized into your education, but to hold on to your communities of knowledge and your ways of being to be authentic in how you present and interact. There is collective power in this authenticity as a form of disruption and resistance. Hold on to yourselves and force the world to change with you. Let me now share this beautiful letter from Anita Imama. The person I want to thank for my educational journey and achievement is not with us anymore. Although he is not here in the physical form, his spirit and everything he taught me are in the foundations I stand on. My dad, who is revolutionary in mind, not only educated me and made me fall in love with the nerve-ending journey of learning. Early on, he gave me the critical lens I would use to examine society and the world around me. Being who you are unapologetically, which he preached day in and day out, helped me stay my authentic self in a world that tries to place me in a box because I am a woman, I am Black, and I am Muslim. Thank you, Dad, for being my greatest advocate, encouraging my curiosity, and letting me question everyone and everything around me. But out of all of the amazing things you taught me, one thing I will always carry with me is how much you preached about using my privilege and knowledge to do something that helps others or changes the living situation of those around me. This lesson is why I decided to join the field of early childhood and why I am at TC. Thank you, Dad, for being my most extraordinary educator, a fierce advocate, and a great role model for what it means to be a lifetime learner. I now have the honor of welcoming back for more music, Corey and Thomas.
This song is for each of you, for our families, our ancestors, those that have fought the good fight before us so that we could be here today, for the fight that we continue today. Go out and tell the story. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Go out and tell the story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, open you
Hello. I promised myself that I wouldn't cry during the speech, but I already failed in the first 5 minutes. Thank you for the earlier remarks, everyone. So good evening to my fellow graduates, faculty, staff, and our loved ones. To my fellow TC graduates of 2022, we did it! We did it, guys. After jumping through all of the hoops and clearing every personal, professional, national, and global challenge, here we are. And to our guests, congratulations. You no longer have to hear us complain about every assignment, exam, external placement ever again. Until further notice, at least, looking at you, future doctoral candidates. But on a more serious note, to our loved ones, sincerely, thank you so much for being here today and your continued support that has brought us here. In my case, my name is Irene Joyce Stimatulak. I am a member of the Communication Sciences and Disorders program, and now a part of the officially graduated multi-hyphenate class of 2022. I would not be here today with you all here sharing this moment without a vast community of love and support. In all actuality, I entered TC in 2019, expecting to graduate in 2021. However, my studies were abruptly interrupted in 2020 with a diagnosis of bone cancer. Following the diagnosis was a long, harrowing year of cancer treatment that also conversely highlighted the vast network of support that helped me hope during the most difficult days of that time and truly celebrated with me upon being declared cancer-free. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Returning to TC was a triumphant day, and each day since has been sweeter than the last. In the culminating events that led to graduation, I've been reflecting on the words of a childhood hero, Mr. Fred Rogers. He invited an audience to pause and reflect on those who have loved us into being. And I would like to offer you the same opportunity for reflection. In the words of Mr. Rogers, all of us have special ones who have loved us into being. Would you just take, along with me, 10 seconds to think of all the people who have helped you become who you are, those who have cared about you and wanted what was best for you in life? 10 seconds, everybody. I'll keep time. All right. Thank you. In my own reflection, there are an innumerable number of people who have loved me into being here today. Firstly, I would like to thank the TC community for supporting me and reassuring me when I had to leave and warmly welcoming me upon my return. Secondly, I would not be here standing with you cancer-free without my medical family, my doctors, nurses, nurses' aides, and wider medical team at Memorial Sloan Kettering. While they aren't here in the room with us, in the midst of a global pandemic and a citywide lockdown, they not only helped me survive, but also thrive and transform into the clinical practitioner I am today, hoping to provide the same level of care and compassion that they gave me. Lastly, to my mom and dad, who are celebrating with us here today, even in all my studies in communication and speaking, I still can't find the right words that would ever accurately express my gratitude and love for you. From the beginning, thank you for nurturing my Filipino identity and validating my American identity. Raising me 2 oceans away from the Philippines, you taught me how to loudly sing your childhood songs in Tagalog and Pangasinan, how to mano properly, and the importance of staying connected with family here in New York, Philippines, and across the world. You were also my first introduction into the vast cultural richness of our city that piqued my interest in this field. From our little Manila community in Woodside, Queens, to Sunday dinners eating pho in Elmhurst or saag paneer in Jackson Heights, our walks around the globe through the streets of our community together molded me into a global citizen. New York City and beyond, through familiar and unfamiliar circumstances, you've nurtured my childhood curiosity, fostered my gratitude, and taught me how to stay grounded through it all. Most recently, I want to highlight how far we've come. Daddy, during my cancer treatment, thank you for driving me every single day to and from the hospital before work. Thank you for making me laugh and smile and buying whatever food I was craving that day. And Mommy, thank you for being with me in the hospital every single day, sleeping in whatever chair was provided, and being my comfort and confidant. We have come so far from those times. We've celebrated every victory, big or small, that we could, and I'm so happy to celebrate this huge one with you today. Mommy and Daddy, stand up. They're all the way in the back there, stand up. Mommy and Daddy, talagang maraming salamat. Thank you for loving me into being. Your love has forged the shining crown that will continue to light my path. Thank you. They literally signed it. All right, well, I'm gonna wipe for a second, but I would like to proudly introduce the next speaker, Professor Perna Aurora, to the stand.
I am so honored to be here in attendance today, touched to be chosen to read a graduate's letter, and so humbled by your stories. I am the daughter of an immigrant. My father traveled from a small village in India many years ago to Canada to earn his PhD. As a child, I heard about the challenges he faced and those that he overcame. I heard about the people that helped him and the many times that he fell along the way. I heard that hard work and persistence meant more than any talent one could be gifted. I am honored to be here today, to be around so many of you that have experienced similar journeys and whose families have inspired them to grow, dream, and learn. TC is so lucky to have you, and we cannot wait to see what you do next. And now I will read a letter from Jasmine Toledo. I am a culmination of so many people who have supported me throughout my college and career journey. I am my grandmother who taught me that being sensitive and caring doesn't equate to being weak, but actually that being vulnerable is a form of strength. I am my aunts and uncle who remind me of the power of my femininity and to always remain true to myself. I am my mother who prepared me for the confidence I need to navigate through the world that wasn't created for a woman like me. And I am also my grandmother whose hot sun blood constantly runs through my veins. I am Puerto Rican, child of the proudest people in the world, child of the island of enrichment. I am also the child of you. You make me whole. Our roots are free. Our foundation is strong. Thank you for all your love and support. Now, please let me welcome Professor Yolanda Sealy Ruiz.
Hello, everyone. Greetings, President Bailey, Provost Stephanie Rowley, and these awesome graduates. Come on, give it up for yourselves. I want to start by thanking these two beautiful brothers. When I came down the aisle and you stopped me, Thomas, and you say, "Hey, who are you?" Thank you for blessing us, Corey and Thomas, with your musical talents, and for channeling what I'm going to talk about a little bit, the ancestors, right, that are within each of us and carry us forward. Thank you. Thank you and congratulations to all of you. Take a moment to take in this moment because it doesn't happen every day. I want to, before I read a gorgeous letter, I want to just share with you some of the things I've been thinking about a lot. And perhaps as I get older and I see my own daughter grow, I think a lot about what will it mean for me to be an ancestor? What will be said about me? How will she speak about me? And if she's blessed, how will her children speak about me? And so I want to just further that by sharing a poem with you. Some of you know that I'm a poet. I want to thank President Bailey. It's your inauguration that although I was writing poetry for 35 years, I began to call myself a poet after that inaugural moment. And so sometimes, although we have the strength within, sometimes we need a reminder outside, right, to keep us forward on our path. So with that, I would like to read a poem from my second book of poetry called The Peace Chronicles, because what we need now, not just love, we also need peace. And this is called Standing Rocks. I stand on the mighty shoulders of Harriet, Sojourner, Shirley, Fannie Lou, Zora, Tony, and Baldwin too. Rocks who moved people towards liberation, shattering the boulders on our necks. I stand on the shoulders of Malcolm, Martin, Marcus, and John, whose head, hands, and feet paved a painful pathway for my existence. These hands, these shoulders, loving always, yielding always, leading towards truth, drenched in blood and hallowed waters. I fight because they fought. I sat because I stand, because they sat. I know because they lived, and I live because they loved me. Thank you. What a glorious moment. What an amazing moment to be you. To be you in this time and space, knowing that you are at the beginning. Although many of you have done other things in life, you are at the beginning of this new pathway for yourself. Remember your ancestors. Remember that it is never too early to think about what type of ancestor you want to become. I now have the pleasure of reading a letter from Nadia Ford. Growing up in a small, tight-knit Texas community, I knew a good rivalry when I saw one. I recall once asking my parents if we rooted for UT or A&M because their answer would decide which university I would one day attend. As members of all good rivalries know, to my dismay, they said that they were not partial to either. At that moment, I realized my college journey would be all my own. Without a rivalry to lead the way, I began forging a path for myself, using a tool my family supplied in abundance: strength. I come from generations of individuals forging their own paths. For one family member, that meant hiding the truth of her citizenship for decades as she watched her children each work for the very government she was hiding from. Another's path led her to tell her husband she was going to find a job, an act of defiance that feminism was only beginning to touch on at that time. My path led me to be the first in my family to receive my master's degree. In the midst of a pandemic, when individuals were fleeing New York City, I gathered generations worth of strength and became a first. With this degree in hand, I can only hope that the Ortega Fords after me are able to use the strength coursing through our veins to find themselves doing something I can only imagine. Nadia Ford. It is my pleasure to invite to the stage your doctoral speaker for the evening, Dr. Jontel White.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to be here. COVID really knocked out how I expected or what I expected graduation to be, but it's truly with immense gratitude that I stand before you all to celebrate and to speak a few words. My name is Jontel White, and I am of the doctoral class year of 2020-2021. Earning my PhD in sociology means I have been trained to examine systems. So I cannot stand before you and simply talk about this moment, but I must speak about it in the context of where we began. Today is the sum total of all of our experiences here too. This culminating moment is but the tip or the pinnacle of a mountain of moments and experiences and relationships that we have since beginning this journey and that undergird how we got here. So I want to do this by recalling the mountainous journey to PhD. If I were in church, I would say, if I had to title this message, it would be Making It Over, an ode to the journey to PhD. Making It Over, an ode to the journey to PhD. I'm a woman of faith, but I'm also a proud scholar. So in true academic fashion, my title had to be long and it had to have a colon in it. So here's to the ode to the journey in 3 parts. Part 1, the early years. So the first day of school is always filled with nervousness and excitement, but to be a doctoral student, beginning the first day of the highest level of schooling at one of the most elite institutions in the country takes that nerve-sightedness to a whole new level. It's a feeling that can make you feel with adrenaline when you're on the subway and making your walk to campus, and can equally fill your feet with cold blood when you reach the double door entrance. It's the moment you may call your mom or dad to help you settle your nerves, or your sister or your brother to speak a word of encouragement to you, to help you fix your crown and to stand tall and to walk through the ivory tower. In the first few weeks, they bring you joy because you're connecting with professors, you're meeting peers, and you're selecting the classes that seem interesting to you. The doctoral journey is a marathon, so you're excited to be connecting with those who may stick with you to the end. But after the first few weeks, your workload intensifies immensely. And it's the point at which you realize, like you really realize how expansive the reading list is for all of your classes, and that you really need to start reading faster because you calculated it's going to take you about 40 hours a week just to get through the reading alone. So it's this stage where your peer mentors become golden, that person in your cohort that just seems to have it already managed and figured out, or that one just a year or two ahead of you that can speak a word to help you strategically learn how to read, or to know the best spots in the library, or to figure out the best coffee shops in the area. Tonight, we honor the coaches of our first year. Thank you to our family and our loved ones who spoke the words, who gave the hugs, who empowered us with the positive mindset we needed to kick off the race on a good foot. Thank you to our peer coaches who taught us, who saw us teetering on the early days and shared their wisdom and tactics that helped us tighten our laces so that we could focus and prepare to hit our stride. Part 2, the middle years. By the end of your first year of doctoral life, you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. The immense amount of data and theories and statistical configurations and branches of your scholar field swarms you, along with this intense pressure to know and understand it all. And at the same time, you're beginning the search for your doctoral research question. And for some of us, even looking for additional funding so that you can manage to get through the remaining years. And all of it really causes anxiety and an immense amount of FOMO. Fear of not knowing what you don't know and wanting so badly to find your scholar community. This is even more challenging for scholars like me and many of us in the room, scholars of color and those from underrepresented groups who in elite, predominantly white institutions undertake research topics on minoritized communities and seek approaches to research that countered Western ways of knowing, the very things that dominate courses like here at TC. The middle years are challenging for doctoral students. So when we do find an article or we do find a scholar that absolutely speaks to who we envision ourselves being, we can tend to talk about it with any and everyone who would listen. So thank you. Thank you to the faculty members who behind closed doors and over emails answered their grappling questions and our burning desires. Thank you to our family members who held on to venting sessions and our moments of joy. Thank you to our grandmothers and grandfathers and others who made our favorite meals when we were buried in the work. Thank you to the friends old and new who dragged us outside when we needed much needed vitamin D to fuel our joy. We honor your patience. We honor your love that you would stand with us and be a listening ear, even when you may not have understood the theories or the context we were talking about. Part 3, the final years. The ending point of a doctoral journey is highly personalized. Some people finish in 3, many finish between the 5 and 8 year mark. The final years are the time after which you finished your coursework, you finalized your dissertation topic, and now you must spend the time collecting and analyzing the data, writing your dissertation and preparing for your next steps. And this process uniquely grants an immense amount of prolonged solitude. For it's on you alone to set the vision and on you alone to hunker down and to do the hard work. And for many, these years are the most difficult part of the journey because you hit a moment, a brick wall of self-doubt in which you wonder, is it worth it to continue? Am I capable of doing this? And each of you are here because you answered yes. We honor those who helped us secure our yes. We honor those loved ones who rooted for us, even though they didn't know what we were doing or why it was taking so long. Thank you. Thank you to the faculty advisors who amped up their encouragement on those moments. Thank you to all who helped us do what my mom likes to say, take this mountain. It is because of you all that we have made it over. Making it over is not about how fast we climbed. It is about the grit and the grace which we owned within ourselves as we climbed. We achieved a PhD, which has suffixed 3 letters to our name, but we are the sum of all of us. And there are more 3-letter words that make up who we are. They are mom, dad, bro, sis, tia, tío, fam, God. Thank you all. We made it with you. We made it through you. We made it because of you. So my fellow graduates, we took this mountain and we will take on those yet higher because of the legacy of those who love us and those we carry with us to make the world better for those who come after us. May you make it over newer heights, knowing this one is already won. God bless you all on this journey. Soar on. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Hi, my name is Matt Henley, and I am a professor in the dance education program, and I am so honored to be here, honored and hopeful, which is something I don't feel a lot these days. It's hard to feel, but I feel hopeful, which is really nice. So thank you for that. There's been a lot of thanking of parents, and families and loved ones, which is totally due. Mostly thanking on behalf of the students themselves and all the support that you provide them. And I want to, on behalf of the faculty, thank the families and the loved ones. You send them to this strange country called academia, where they learn a new language that you're not quite sure you understand, the academic language. They wear strange clothes. You send them here hoping to make them better, right? To make the world better. And I want to thank you on behalf of the faculty because you make us better. Our last speaker, Dr. White, mentioned different ways of knowing, right? Ways of knowing that are embedded in the institution that need to change. And the only way that those are going to change is if people come here and change those, if they bring their traditions, their ways of knowing, their beliefs, their practices, their ways of loving to us. And they couldn't bring those to us to make us better if you didn't love them and support them. So thank you. I am because you are. So thank you. When I think about how I got to this point in my educational journey, I tend to reflect on the hardships more than the positive outcomes, about how hard I had to battle severe imposter syndrome, thinking I wasn't good enough to attend an Ivy League institution for my master's, about how much I would have to leave behind. Will my family be okay if I move across the country to pursue my dreams, to become an educator? About how I would be able to sustain myself in a city like New York. But today I am filled with gratitude, with honor, and with love, because I am a first-generation Filipino American whose father came from the scrappy Barrio Obrero and whose mother came from the farmlands of Nueva Ecija in the Philippines, not knowing that someday in the future, they would give birth to 3 unique and talented children, one of which who would be standing here or sitting there today with a degree from one of the most prestigious institutions, with dreams of sharing our ancestors' stories through academia. I am filled with hope, care, and light because of the support of my mentors, Dr. Alison Tintianco Cubales, Dr. Arlene Daus Magbual, Mayor Roderick Daus Magbual of Daly City, California, my hometown, and Dr. Kevin Nadal, the first Filipino-American distinguished professor of the City University of New York. They carried me through my program. My queer communities, my Asian American communities, and my Black Latinx communities have supported me when I felt alone at a predominantly white institution. There are more individuals who I think deserve a special shout out, all of whom have inspired me in ways I could not put into enough words. My partner, for reminding me that love exists. And to my brothers who show me that strength can be manifested with your mind, body, and soul. Maraming salamat. I did this para sa aming lahat. Kai Santiago.
Thank you. My goodness, my heart is full. I have just been thinking both about all the stories about the sort of future and where you're all headed. But as I look around the room, I also can't help but think about how much you've changed TC and what you've left here. So John Towell mentioned leaving the place better for the next generation of students who are coming along. So I am grateful to all of you. So we now have come to the most beautiful part of the program, the family roll call. I'll read out the name of each graduate here this evening. When I call your name, please rise. And if you have family here tonight, they should stand up with you, just as they've done every day leading up to today. If there's a graduate who does not have guests with them this evening, I hope your classmates will be family tonight and stand with you. And so, Damian Mannings. Ebony Washington. Jontel White. Carmen Keels. Roshan Alt Lee. Salil Akhtar. Jelani Spencer Joe. Hanuf Aljuhail. Katika Putri. Anisha Clark. Jeffrey Acevedo. Jakarta Ralston. Tenyi John. Michelle Lynn. Corey Leak. Thomas Wright Jr. Manaku Tatino. Rafaela Soares. Joey Uwe. Melissa Reyes Kaplan. Akani Nakamura. Shristi C. Jason Flowers II. Irene Dimatulak. Celine Shen. Juliana Ana Marino. Valerie Mitchell. Karen Veer Denoa. Adamola Idan. Grace Evans. Pamela Cruz Ford. Kimone Williams. Anita Imama. Kelly Yukai Huang. Denise Herrera. Karen Cole Onifo. Romuald Thomas. Kai Sarmiento Santiago. Got the whole thing. Natasha Dooley. Manuel Cardoso. Nia Kerr. Joanne Nichols. Joanne Sanchez. Those are all of our graduates for this evening. And that concludes our family roll call. Woo! Congratulations, everyone. So would everyone please stand together as one family tonight? And let's salute our graduates one last time. So as we close our ceremony, know that you will always be. Wow, that was like magic. Know that you will always be part of the TC family. And in this family, we root for each other, support each other, and learn from each other. In good times and bad, the family that you've created here will continue to be an enduring legacy of your time at Teachers College. Thank you all for being part of this special ceremony. And please keep your seats as the graduates exit the auditorium. Take your seats as the graduates exit.